This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
I'm Bill Bryant. Time to rise and shine on your Thursday. We're glad you're with us here on WKYT. And now at 6 a.m. we are getting our first look at the man who police say shot a Madison County Sheriff's deputy.
State police say plane wreckage and a body have both been found in western Kentucky just days after a pilot was reported missing.
And the 911 call from a mother whose little boy fell into a gorilla exhibit provide a better understanding of just how frightening that experience really was for that family.
A few showers out there early this morning, and that means that something's close by. A front is close by. That means later on this afternoon, some spotty storms in the forecast. Here we go again with this wet trend. I'm going to show you that off into your weekend coming up.
And let's get right to the news.
New this morning, we are getting our first look at the man who investigators say shot and injured a Madison County Sheriff's deputy.
Police say Deputy Kevin Crutcher was shot by 51-year-old Daniel Pigg during a traffic stop on Arthur Jackson Road. And WKYT's Mark Barber is joining us now with the latest that we have on the investigation. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. The investigation is centering around Daniel Pigg, that 51-year-old who's accused of shooting a 9-year veteran of the Madison County Sheriff's Office. Pigg's family says that he had been in trouble with the law before, but they never thought he would shoot a deputy. But state police say that is exactly what happened yesterday when Deputy Kevin Crutcher stopped Pigg outside of his home on Arthur Jackson Road. According to state police, Pigg got out of his truck and started walking toward the deputy, shooting at him, hitting him once in the stomach. Crutcher told him to stop, but when he wouldn't, the deputy pulled his gun. The wounded deputy fired back, killing the 51-year-old.
I walked around the edge of the porch just to see, if he was alive, and which I didn't. But I could see the blood all over his shirt, and I just turned and went back around towards the house.
Neighbors say that Pigg had a rough past. I've been searching through criminal records this morning, and I found that he could have been in jail when this shooting happened. That's because he was sentenced to serve out a 2-year sentence in jail last year. We'll have much more on his criminal history coming up on WKYT News at 6:30.
Thank you, Mark. People living in Madison County were relieved Deputy Crutcher did not suffer serious injuries, but the shooting brought back an all too familiar feeling for many in the community.
It really maws you, hits at home, and it's kind of rough, knowing your kids are growing up and don't know what to expect. People shoot officers or shoot anyone.
Less than 7 months ago, Richmond police officer Daniel Ellis died after being shot in the line of duty. His death shocked the community, and many are still mourning. As the news broke of yesterday's shooting, community members say it brought back painful memories.
I still haven't got over it. We still have things for Officer Ellis.
Tore us all up. Yeah. Still does. We still see it when we see signs or, different decorations up that are still up for him. It's just heartbreaking.
Several police cruisers from Madison County and around central Kentucky showed up to the hospital yesterday afternoon. Many stopped by to make sure their brother in law enforcement was doing okay. And you were here yesterday when all this happened. It was just unbelievable.
Special report about 2:25 or so. We were on the air for several minutes until we learned the circumstances.
Right.
That the officer was going to survive his injuries and that the suspect had been killed. Well, state police say they have found the debris of a plane owned by a pilot who went missing out in western Kentucky.
Investigators say a body was also found with the wreckage. WKYT's Caitlin Sintner is at our live desk with more on the findings. Caitlin?
Good morning, Michelle. It'll be a joint effort between Kentucky State Police and the FAA to investigate the crash later today. Wreckage of a missing plane flown by pilot Robert Dizelle, an Owensboro man, was found just yesterday afternoon near the Hancock-Breckinridge County line. It was a citizen-flown helicopter that first spotted a burned area and suspicious debris in western Kentucky. That led police to a missing plane flown by a very experienced pilot. Emergency management didn't anticipate a long search, but the wreckage was so deep in the woods, it took over 2 hours for ground crews to get to. Although state police has found his plane, they won't confirm it was Dizelle's body recovered. Friends who aided in the search say the doctor flew through the Falls of Rough often.
First started flying, he was in med school, and he'd come in on weekends and we'd fight over who got to fly the airplane. That's how far back we go.
Dizelle was reported missing when he didn't meet another pilot for a scheduled dinner. Again, the FAA, along with Kentucky State Police, will be investigating the crash later today. At the live desk, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
Caitlin, thank you very much. And police are now trying to identify a body that was discovered in a Lexington park. Lexington police say a man's body was found yesterday by a group of people at River Hill Park. That's off Crosby Drive. They say it appears that it had been dead for a long period of time. They do not believe his cause of death is suspicious in any way, but investigators tell us the man looked to be in his 70s. A man charged for a double shooting in Knox County will be facing a judge later this morning. 38-year-old Brian Bunch is charged with attempted murder after investigators say he shot two women at a home on Bailey Hollow Connector Road on Monday night. Police still don't know what led up to the shooting. At last check, both victims are in critical condition at the University of Tennessee Hospital in Knoxville. Bunch will be arraigned at 9 o'clock this morning in Barberville.
Police have now released the 911 call from the mother of a little boy who fell into the gorilla exhibit at the Cincinnati Zoo over the weekend. Now, the mother called police after the gorilla picked up the boy and started dragging him around the exhibit in the water. Zoo workers shot and killed the gorilla moments later. Here's the dramatic call of the boy's mother made during the time.
I need you to call.
What is the
I need you to call.
Cincinnati 911. What is the address?
Hi, my son fell in the zoo exhibit at the gorilla. The Cincinnati Zoo. My son fell in with the gorilla. There's a male gorilla standing over him. I need someone to contact the zoo, please.
Okay. We do already have it started. We do already have help started there, okay? How old is the child?
Be calm. Be calm. Be calm.
How old
Be calm. He's dragging my son. I can't watch this.
Scary situation for that mom. A family representative says the boy is continuing to heal and doing okay after that frightening experience. Cincinnati police now plan to question the boy's parents about what exactly happened at the zoo.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
A couple of showers out and about early this morning as you step out the doors. Not for everybody. Most of us are actually dry. Let's show you where there are showers, and these are light sprinkles. Look, you make your way into southern portions of Owen County, northern portions of Scott, heading north and northeast. That's where we're going to be seeing that. Southern portions of Grant County heads up. A couple of more sprinkles headed your way. The heavier downpour at this very moment is actually just to the north of Barberville, and it's heading off into Clay County. Right now, Clay County over Manchester and southbound. That's where we're seeing some of that rain right over that 421 corridor, kind of that interchange of 421 and Hal Rogers. If you're sitting in Buckhorn more than likely, you're going to be next in line. And also, if you're sitting in northern portions of Leslie County, I would say you're going to be next in line with these showers as they roll on through here in just about 20 minutes. So we go through your day, a couple of showers this morning, but through your day, those thunderstorms will spark up. And that's where you get the really heavy rain. Yesterday in Anderson County, we actually picked up 2.5 inches of rain with some of these storms that moved through last night. Now, not everybody saw that. Most of us saw some heavy downpours, but nothing like that. So just know there will be some spots that you can pick up some heavy downpours, and also looking at a lot of lightning within these too. Keep that in mind. Now, here's the deal. With that said, there still is a small, very low-end risk of a stray severe cell, as you see marginal as the lowest end that you can actually expect from the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma. But it's really for Lexington, east and south, okay? So that's the best bet to actually pick up a stray severe cell. But what I would just focus in on, don't worry about if it's stray or if it's a strong cell. Both of those sound the same. Both of those actually feel the same as they pass on by, with very heavy rain out of these as they fall across the way, which is not good because we got a lot of events going on. This isn't the only big event kicking off today. We have the Brass Band Festival there in Danville. We have the Capitol Expo Festival there in Frankfort. Big events kicking off today, and just know you're going to have to dodge some of these spotty thunderstorms, especially noon through about 8 p.m. A couple of rumbles there as we slide into your Friday, especially south of I-64. That is your better bet. And then Saturday, here comes some more storms as we have a front on the way. So, Bill, today and Saturday are your better chances of rain. I would say Friday is mainly south of I-64 if you're trying to do these yard sales. Northern zones, you'll have the best bet to actually jump on Highway 25 and 68 to knock out some of these bargains that you can see.
And amazing bargains and
Yes.
interesting things to see. And we hope it all works out.
Many miles of it, too.
So weather's mostly good. Just plan for those showers occasionally. 6:09, our time this morning. Every morning right here we bring you weather and traffic together. And let's go to Officer Don out at 98.1 The Bull and see what's happening on the roads. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Stalled car on the inner loop of Man-O-War near Tate's Creek. Shouldn't be a problem for you in just a few minutes. They'll have it cleared. Crews continue to work on the Todd's Road widening project, so expect some delays there throughout the day, especially anywhere between Man-O-War over to about Forest Hill and even over to Hayes Boulevard on Todd's Road. Let's get a look outside right now, and we will show you what's happening around the city in real time as far as drive times are concerned. From Nicholasville, looking good past Man-O-War. Richmond Road looks okay too. No delays at the circle in that left turn lane just yet, keeping a close eye on there. As far as our drive times are going this morning, from Nicholasville, it's a normal ride in right now, holding 11 to 12 minutes or so. No trouble there. Coming in from Versailles across the county line, we're looking good about 11 minutes. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we're glad you're with us here on WKYT this morning. Off and rolling on your Thursday with all the latest news. It's now 6:10.
With just a week before students take final exams, the UCLA campus went into lockdown after a shooter was reported on campus. What police are saying about the suspected gunman in 6 minutes.
Welcome back in. Our time this morning is 6:14.
Gotta hide that coffee.
A little sip of coffee. No need to hide coffee. Everybody.
It isn't a Keeneland cup.
It is. And anybody up this early would understand. You probably need something to get going on your Thursday, right?
Yes. So flood-ravaged Texas is bracing for yet again more wet weather.
This morning, most of the state is under a flash flood watch or warning. Hundreds of residents remain evacuated from their homes near the Brazos River, and Hannah Daniels has the latest.
Neighborhoods around Houston are underwater, and more rain is coming. As of Wednesday night, 31 counties were under a state of disaster in Texas, including Fort Bend County, where the Brazos River is swallowing up land and homes.
We can't handle anymore, and we want to get back to a daily life.
The river rose to a record level of 54 feet. The sheriff toured devastated neighborhoods yesterday.
This is something we haven't seen in this area in 100 years.
More than 100 Texans have been rescued because of flash flooding, but livestock and animals were stranded and had to fend for themselves. Dozens of cows were seen struggling to stay afloat, looking for higher ground. But some animals have made it out, like these horses that were rescued Wednesday afternoon.
That's it, we got them all. One thing that we've been very blessed to in Fort Bend County is that we do not have any reported loss of life. Things can always be replaced. You just can't replace life.
A small victory in Fort Bend County. The National Weather Service says up to 3 more inches of rain could keep the Brazos River in major flood stage into the weekend. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
And at least 6 deaths in other parts of the state are blamed on the severe weather. The latest from the campaign trail, Hillary Clinton kicking off a final campaign swing in California. It's ahead of the state's critical primary next Tuesday. While in San Diego, she'll be delivering a major foreign policy address, and she's expected to contrast her plans for the country with that of rival Donald Trump. The latest Quinnipiac poll shows Clinton with a narrow lead nationwide over the presumptive GOP nominee in the race for the White House. Classes resumed today on the campus of UCLA following a murder-suicide that left a professor there dead. Investigators say the mechanical engineering professor, William Klug, was gunned down at the university's engineering building early yesterday morning. Police have not identified the shooter, but sources say a male student may have been the assailant. Investigators say a French naval vessel has detected underwater signals from one of Egypt Air Flight 804's black boxes. Specialized locator equipment on board detected signals from the seabed of the Mediterranean Sea. The Airbus crashed in the Mediterranean last month on a flight from Paris to Cairo with 66 people on board. Since then, authorities have been searching for wreckage and for the plane's data recorders, which could reveal evidence about what caused the crash. And the defending champion Golden State Warriors host the Cleveland Cavaliers in Oakland tonight for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Warriors earned their spot in the matchup after pulling off an impressive comeback over the Oklahoma City Thunder on Monday. This is the second straight year that the Cavs and the Warriors will be facing off.
Should be a great series. Your time is 6:18. Ford is adding more vehicles to its recall list to replace faulty Takata airbags. The expansion covers nearly 1.9 million more vehicles. Ford is among several automakers who've recalled nearly 12 million cars in the last week in what has become the largest recall in U.S. history. Walmart's yellow smiley face is making a comeback next week after a 10-year absence. The nation's largest retailer used the image to advertise low prices known as rollbacks. Walmart is bringing back the smiley face on TV, online, and in stores to tout its affordable prices. It's almost time for another Apple announcement. The tech giant is planning to unveil some new changes on June 13th that could include new software updates and a new and improved Siri. But don't expect a new iPhone. Those announcements are usually separate. The company is hoping to revitalize after a rough year. Its revenue fell for the first time in 13 years, mainly because of a drop in iPhone sales.
Yeah, those new phone announcements typically come around September, so we'll see what the announcements are.
Well, I guess everyone has their...
Sooner than that. 6:19, our time on WKYT this morning. Great to have you along with us. Up and at it here on this Thursday, rolling toward the weekend now. And more news ahead. A woman's trip to Yellowstone National Park left her with a painful memory. How she learned a valuable lesson about wildlife. That's coming up when we come back.
We have a few showers outside early this morning. Storms will be possible later on today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to show you what I expect, which day is the best chance. Coming up next.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning. Your time is 6:22. A Madison County Sheriff's deputy is recovering this morning after being shot during a traffic stop.
That's what's trending at this hour here at WKYT News. Investigators say 51-year-old Daniel Pigg shot Deputy Kevin Crutcher during a traffic stop on Arthur Jackson Road in Berea. Deputy Crutcher returned fire, killing Pigg. Deputy Crutcher was taken to UK Hospital but was released late last night to continue his recovery at home.
And an investigation is underway after a body was found in a Lexington park. Police say a group of people found the man's body at River Hill Park off Crosby Drive. At this point, he has not been identified.
You may have heard some thunder heading into the nighttime hours last evening. We'll be hearing more of that in the days or two ahead. Here's meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we still have some showers out in Nevada, and we're going to be holding on to that as we go throughout the morning hours. It's a few showers, none of these really heavy rain, and what we're going to be dealing with once we step off into the afternoon, scattered thunderstorms. So just keep in mind that while we have showers now, that does not mean we won't see thunderstorms later on today, because there is a front right over us, and once you get that heating of the day, boom, those spark up and you get some heavy downpours like we saw last night. So just keep that in mind. Going outside, most of us are dry this morning, just a couple of sprinkles, couple light showers, and we're at 67 degrees right now in Breathitt County. Frankfort at 68, nobody on the road. There's 3 or 4 cars on the road, and Lexington coming in at 68 degrees. Good news here is Officer Don from 98.1 The Bull, we've heard of no issues whatsoever there on the road. So good news for you guys. So rain chance this morning. Once we get toward noontime, we'll have a few storms spark up, but it's really, I would say, noon to about 8 p.m. that we start to see those spotty thunderstorms in the forecast. Guys, we're going to be focusing in on that the next few days, not just today, because our focus of the forecast is the next few days. Today, Friday, Saturday, maybe even off into Sunday, depending on if that front can push on through. So rounds of storms on the increase, as a lot of this will just be heavy downpours that could lead to some localized flooding, lightning, and we cannot rule out the stray threat at some severe weather. We'll talk all about that coming up in a few minutes.
And in the middle of all that, there'll be some times that it maybe won't be raining, right?
Let's hope there are more times than that, right?
You got it. All right, our time this morning is 6:25. An early morning crash on a North Carolina highway caused a major traffic delay after crews spent hours trying to clear up the scene.
Yeah, well, it didn't take long to clear the truck involved. It took hours to clean the truck's cargo because the truck was carrying several glass sheets when it crashed, sending broken glass across the highway. Look at that. No one was injured, but traffic was forced to halt until all that glass was removed.
Yeah, you can understand
that would
why.
take hours.
It'd be a big problem. Yeah.
A tourist got a reality check when she got a little too close to a wild elk.
Yeah, you could say that. The encounter happened in Yellowstone National Park. You can see the woman approaching the elk with her camera in hand. A tour guide tries to warn her off, but look at that. All of a sudden, a charge, too late. The elk goes after the woman.
She flew across.
She's then seen there lying on the ground, apparently injured. The woman escaped, really was unharmed, just really scared up, it looks like. But she learned a lesson, of course, when it comes to wild animals.
Twitter pictures are not that important.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Well, you know, territorial, right? That's That's his area there, I guess, is the message. 6:26 on WKYT this morning. Good to have you along on this Thursday.
Excuse me, why don't you say it?
All right, WKYT will be coming right back. A Central Kentucky judge has concerns over one of Governor Matt Bevin's executive orders. Find out why he is now challenging the order, what he had to say about it. That's coming up at 6:30, along with all of our top stories. Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $251 million. And Saturday night's Powerball jackpot, $110 million. Keep it here on WKYT this morning.